What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. We've got 10 brand new cards for the Nephthys archetype, and I kind of scrolled through them, read a little bit, and I started to think to myself, this misses the mark even for casual just a little bit. It feels specifically like they've made these cards for Duel Links or something, which is what I also feel from the legendary duelist packs. This is kind of feeling like it's just missing the mark even if it was released a few years ago. What would this realistically be doing? So let's go ahead and read through some of these and then talk about why I feel that way. Now, I love the Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. It throws me back, but let's talk about this after we get through some effects. Level 2, Wind Spellcaster Effect Monster. This is Enlightened Hand of Nephthys. Attack 600, defense 600. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. Target one level 4 or lower Nephthys monster in your graveyard, except Enlightened Hand of Nephthys. Destroy one card in your hand, and then special summon the monster in defense position, but its effects are negated. So if we're continuously destroying cards in the hand or ritual summoning, there should be fodder in the graveyard for this, but it still feels like you're dealing the hand you were dealt and having to go off it. 2, if this card is destroyed by an effect and sent to the graveyard during your next standby phase, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. So, recurrence without anything but the body on board. Alright, Prayer Hand of Nephthys, a level 2 Wind Spellcaster Effect Monster. Attack 0, defense 2000, got a big booty, dope. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn, and let's go ahead and give you these cards on the field while we're reading it off. During your main phase, you can activate this effect, destroy a card in your hand, and if you do, add a Nephthys monster from your deck to your hand, except Prayer Hand of Nephthys. Probably one of the best effects in the deck, as you actually get to resource the entire deck with this card. Not bad. Except for Prayer, though. If this card is destroyed by an effect and sent to the graveyard, during your next standby phase, you can activate this effect, add a Nephthys spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. Alright, so it really seems like it is resourcing the deck and tooling the deck in a way that no other card is doing in this archetype. It's kind of your starter in a sense, even though this one takes a turn. It automatically gets you any Nephthys monster. It's kind of the star of the show, this little gal with the hat covering her head. She's really what you'll want to see early on. Next up, we have a couple more level 2s. They're all 2s. We have Speaker Hand of Nephthys, a level 2 Wind Spellcaster Effect Monster. Attack 300, defense 1200. You can only use each of this card's name's effect once per turn. You can target one Nephthys card in your graveyard, except Speaker Hand of Nephthys. Destroy a card in your hand, and if you do, add that target to your hand. Resources it back to hand so it can be destroyed again or something, I guess. If this card is destroyed by an effect and sent to the graveyard during your next standby phase, you can add a Nephthys card from your graveyard to your hand, except Speaker. So double dipping in the graveyard. A lot of these resource the graveyard instead of the deck, which in 2018, 2019, wherever this is going to be played, you need to resource the deck a lot more, and a lot of this is focusing and shuffling around, again, what you're already dealt, and a deck full of level 2s and then rituals. Here we have Protecting Hand of Nephthys, an attack 1400, defense 200. You can only use each of this card's name's effects once per turn, so everything here is limited to once per turn too, so when you get this multiple copies, you're only popping off with one during the next standby phase. During your main phase, you can activate this effect, destroy one card in your hand, and if you do, special summon one level 4 or lower Nephthys monster from your hand. This really should have been the deck, except Protecting Hand of Nephthys. If this card is destroyed by an effect and sent to the graveyard during your next standby phase, destroy one Nephthys monster in your deck, except Protecting Hand of Nephthys. Now, the problem is all the destruction effects do say during your next standby phase, not the current one, so it puts the clock for a whole nother turn to resource the deck here. That's a little painful. Just a little bit. And this is why I feel like it's kind of Duel Links oriented. It does not feel like it's made for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Now we have our first level 2 ritual with the level 2 Wind Spellcaster Ritual Effect Monster. And it is Dive Feed, Hand of Nephthys. So a Hand of Nephthys makes it into the rituals. A level 2 Wind Spellcaster Ritual Effect Monster. Attack 1200, defense 1200, not the most boastful stats. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. You can only use each of this card's name's effects once per turn, I'm assuming. If this card is ritual summoned, special summon one Nephthys monster from your deck, but it's destroyed during the end phase. This is definitely what the deck needed to resource the deck, to get through there and to continue going. But you're still going to have to get there. I guess one of the huge things to do this is that maybe it'll be pre-prep. We'll actually have to continue reading. I haven't read I just got the ritual spell, so I haven't read it thoroughly. So if this card is in the graveyard, you can activate this effect, destroy one Nephthys card in your hand, and if you do, special summon this card from the graveyard. So it recurs, but remember, rituals do have to be properly summoned first in order to recur this kind of way. It can't just cheat ritual summoning overall. And then Sacred Blue Phoenix of Nephthys, a level 8 fire wing beast ritual effect monster, attack 3000, defense 1000. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. You can only use each of this card's names once per turn. Effects, I assume. Yeah, effects. During your main phase, you can activate this effect, destroy any number of Nephthys cards face up on your side of the field, or in your hand, destroy an equal number of monsters your opponent controls. So, nice that it's not targeting there. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effects, during your next standby phase, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Pretty decent overall. It's not bad. It's not like it can take care of back rows, though. Unfortunately, it really focused on monsters there. That's a little rough. An equal number of monsters. It just should have said cards straight up there. It really feels like they're restricting this, right? And then we have a new Link monster in our ritual spell. Let's actually read the ritual spell first. I want to see if it names any monsters. This card can be used to ritual summon any Nephthys ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. If you tribute, die, feed, Hand of Nephthys, or... Oh, it does name them here. Oh, hey! That actually is a lot better than I thought. If you tribute die, feed, Hand of Nephthys, or Sacred Blue Phoenix of Nephthys to ritual summon, you can destroy a card on the field. So nice that they kind of slipped that in and made sure that you're actually able to search out the rituals with pre-prep. Alright. I gotta give them a little credit there. But at the same time, pre-prep's not enough to break an entire deck. But it's nice to have 2 starters instead of 1. But 2 it still doesn't feel like enough for modern Yu-Gi-Oh! To me, personally. 2 Nephthys monsters is what the Link monster here takes. Nephthys, is that a Palladium? The Palladium deity? I don't think it's spelled the same. Link 2 Fire Winged Beast Effect Monster, attack 1200. 2 Nephthys monsters. Link's bottom and bottom right. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is Link summoned, apply one of the following effects. Add 1 level 8 Winged Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can add 1 ritual spell card from your graveyard to your hand. So at least it does let you kind of resource your deck again here. Destroy 1 Nephthys monster this card points to, and if you do, special summon a Nephthys monster from your graveyard with a different name. So again, concentrating back to the graveyard. Overall, I feel like it does let you resource the deck with 2 of the cards, but I don't know that that's enough. They needed a Rhoda-like card over a monster necessarily to do it. And then all the secondary effects that aren't that busted take an entire turn in standby phase. And in my opinion, when it takes that long, when you're resourcing like your game that long, it kind of feels like a weaker Fire Kings, if that makes sense. And I know there's a trap card coming. Oh, we have 2 more cards here. I didn't know we had another spell as well. Alright, we have a normal spell card. You can only activate this card with this card's name once per turn. Target a Nephthys monster you control, and 1 card your opponent controls. Destroy those cards. Well, there goes the hope for the Rhoda that I was just talking about. And we have Awakening of Nephthys, a trap card, continuous. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Nephthys monsters you control gain 300. Oh no. If this card is in your spell and trap zone, is destroyed by an effect, you can special summon 1 Nephthys monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, but it's destroyed during the end phase. Alright, that's better. At least it doesn't have to be destroyed by an opponent's effect. So I guess you can find ways to turn this on, but usually you're gonna either have to wait turns or minus to do so, I feel like, in this deck. Well, actually, I suppose you could play Diagram. You could pop this with Diagram and get the Windshrew King. And these, all of these are wins. So there is some potential synergy. Like, again, I've barely read through these, so these are a bit of my initial reactions for some of these cards. But it is interesting that you can use Diagram and the Wind Through Draco. It still just doesn't feel like it's going to combo off, though. It's going to have its sluggishness that naturally comes with how they're writing these cards. What do you guys think? Do you think there is going to be a way to at least incorporate this into casual Yu-Gi-Oh! To where it will fight better than a deck like Fire Kings? Do you think that maybe it's not just crafted for dual wonks? Do you think there is a way to craft it maybe even into the meta? Personally, like, that's just off the top of my head. I don't know necessarily that it'll take heights, but two recruiters, in a sense, for your deck, able to tool your deck, and an entire archetype just doesn't feel like enough. It feels like it needed a field spell that might be missing here, or something that was way more relevant than what we currently have access to here. Well, thanks for watching. 3 a.m. John here, a little bit tired, just got back from the gym, and saw all these cards, so had to get them to you guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video if you enjoyed the discussion.